So our next series is going to be Jaewon for Team Beast and for Team... actually, sorry, I misspoke. No, week 3 was Scientology Vessel was the team, not Supply Block.
Okay.
And the next Terran player for Scientology Vessel is Flash for the win. Big Team Liquid presence.
Okay.
So another TVZ.
Well, it's a matchup we like.
Yeah, can't complain.
And so, yeah, we've got, in the bottom right, we've got Flash for the win. I've seen him plenty of times on different Brood War Discords, Team Liquid, creating stuff for Brood War, so we always appreciate that.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. And for Team Beast, we've got, under the name CPL Bunker, we've got Jaewon.
And so, TVZ, different positions from our last Neo-Aztec TVZ. Instead, we've got the Zerg to the left instead of to the 12.
Yeah, interesting. Do you think that makes any sort of difference? I mean, it does make the third maybe a little bit harder to take for Terran.
Yeah, I think the third that last series we had our Terran take would not be the choice of third in this situation. Probably the closer third.
Yeah, it is mineral only.
Yeah, but we probably... I would guess, unless he wants to expand up. But that one's a little... that can be a little iffy as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, as a Protoss, I'm usually pretty content to take a mineral only, in certain matchups. But Terran, it's a little bit less ideal to take a mineral only third. So that does make it difficult for them. And I'm really interested to see what Flash does. We've seen most, except for Dark Matter, all the games I've casted were pretty much standard bioplay. And I'm interested to see if anybody's going to try to pull out some 1-1-1 or some maybe fantasy-style mech TVZ, something like that.
If he lives up to his name, he's a big Flash fan, then maybe we'll see some of Flash's latest innovative builds, which people usually, refer to as the 1-1-1.
Yeah, that's been super popular in Korea in different, newer up-and-coming tournaments. It's a pretty big deal.
I mean, yeah, it's very adaptable. It's very flexible for the Terran. It can be a little weak in the early game if you get some sort of Zerg aggression, like early Speed Hydra kind of stuff. And it led to more aggressive, like, Mutalisk openings with, like, 2 hatchery play. But it looks like we've got Jaewon going for the 3rd hatch. So this will be scouted. And we had the 1 Rax expand, and it's not a gas coming up. So it looks like, depending on when we see the gas, that's when we'll be able to tell. But looking like it's not looking like 1-1-1 at the moment.
Yeah, too late of a gas for that. Looks like he's going to be content for some bioplay, at least for now. Scouting SCV still alive. He saw the 3rd hatch. I think if the Scouting SCV is alive for any period of time, it definitely, the possibility of going muta, it just diminishes depending on how long the SCV is in there. But looks like the SCV is actually going down a little bit. So I haven't seen a ton of players go muta, except where the scout is denied.
So this is interesting. We've noted this is 18 play. You can see sort of the technique that Jaewon's attempting to use for catching this SCV. It's the same style that I mean, I'm not saying it's super advanced, but it's the style used by the pros where you have the 1 chase and the 1. At the moment, both are chasing, but you could see it a little earlier. He had the 1 Zergling chase and 1 Zergling try to pin.
Yeah, got a shot off consistently, and I think There we go. Gets him. And where will he go now? It's just going to be
The
Academy play
lair
for
morphing
Flash.
at the Nat. Yeah, we've got just the lair morphing at the Nat and one Rax Academy with the early engineering bay. So the fact that the engineering bay is upgrading +1 that early makes me think this may be like a +1 5-Rex.
Yeah, that's interesting. So this is something that that I've talked about a decent amount. The choice of armor or attack for Terran, if you're going for something like 5-Rex, you know, +1
The
attack,
armor affects the lurker spines,
yeah,
and how many hits they need.
gives them one more shot for that, and the sunken shots as well.
Ooh, we've got a lot of speed Zerglings coming out, and it's scouted by Flash's SCV, attempted scouting SCV. He's got a bunker coming up.
Yeah, this is a ton of lings.
But this is a... Oh, it's not a wall.
Oh my goodness.
We do have the first medic coming out. It's not trading efficiently from the Zerglings.
Yeah, that was a decent trade, but with the bunker
Oh, the
up,
Marines in the bunker. Actually, 2 SCVs in the bunker right now.
yeah, that wasn't the best attack for Jaewon. I would have liked to see him try to bleed some lings into the main there. Kind of just threw them all away at that one group. And now he's charging it again. There's a fire bat there, getting some good surface area.
Flash do a good job blocking the Zerglings from getting past the fire bat. The positioning of those units there, he knew there was a possibility those Zerglings to just try to run straight through. But we do have the Zerglings trying to get some SCV kills. But they are getting hit. So this is a heavy Zergling commitment.
Yeah, there's still no third up for Jaewon, and the fire bats are up. I really don't like how much Jaewon's pressing into this attack for lings. He's kind of just been throwing them in and getting roasted.
And that SCV barely made it in, but he saw the Spire. He saw the Spire about to finish.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah, I'm not sure if... we haven't quite seen a reaction from him yet, but I definitely saw that on his vision, he saw the Spire. Yeah, so we've got the, we're still 3 hatchery. The mutas are about to be coming out.
Yeah,
and we've got a scan on the main.
I wonder if Flash saw that, but didn't... It was in his vision, but he didn't actually click on it or see it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking. Because we can confirm it was in the vision.
There are some turrets going up right now.
We'll see if it's perfect timing or if it is... I think it's on time. They're definitely on time. So, yeah, we have a couple turrets finishing right on time. Not that many turrets in the main. But he's got a decent little bio chunk sitting right in front of his natural.
The muta's just diving in. They're going to try to get one of these turrets and get on top of the production facilities. The Bioforce coming down, there's actually not a lot of medics, so he can get some decent trades with this. And a decent of fire bats do not shoot up. The Marine count is getting thinned a little bit. No medics here. Only medics just popping out the next round, but he's using quite a bit of bio here.
Yeah, there's not many Marines here. As we noted before, he had a pretty high portion of fire bats of his units. However, these are all heavily bruised mutas, and there's only 5 of them, which means with 5 mutas you can't one-shot, but there's 3 more. For 8 mutas. Because once you get down to 5 mutas, you can't one-shot a Marine.
Yeah, Jaewon also has a third coming up behind this, and yeah, the mutas are bruised. The +1 Marines, though, he's got to be careful. He's doing a really good job microing. He's taking down so many Marines, and now he's going to start getting into the medic count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's amazing how bruised a lot of these mutas are. There just isn't that much. There's more mutas than Marines.
Yeah, at this point, the turret count is getting quite high. He's got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
But he can start getting off the top of the barracks.
With the bruised mutas, with how many there are, the turrets can actually do some pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
He's lost 3 mutas to turrets.
And the SCVs, he's pulled SCVs out here. They're kind of just waiting around, and he's losing.
Ooh, got another one. There's only 3 mutas left, but there's such a low count here.
Yeah, Paisan is asking why 4x out from Flash. I think he was trying something, and then he threw him down because there was some really heavy ling pressure.
Uh-huh.
But I think he was thinking about trying to make some sort of 5x push out happen, given the timing of the +1 and the late gas. That's kind of what it looked like at first.
You've got a Hydrogen just coming up. A lot of Zerglings. There's only 4 mutas. So we'll have to see. There's not much loaded in this bunker. If he takes out the bunker, we'll have to see.
The Lings are coming in. There is a tank there.
Ooh, hesitation there.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, a lot of Marine. Oh, goodness. That is not a efficient attack.
No.
All the mutas. And he GG's. Okay.
Wow.
So it seemed like, okay, it was obviously a very low econ situation there. It looked dicey for a bit. But the turrets really are what saved him. Turrets took about 3. We noted how bruised the Mutalisks were when he had about 8, but about 5 or 6 were heavily bruised. And continuing to attack into those turrets, having that count of about 5 to 6 turrets, really just meant that the mutas couldn't break, and the Zerglings couldn't get in there and do any damage with the bunker still standing. So.
Yeah, that attack was pretty painful. He hesitated and danced around with the mutas, not shooting at all, and you can't dance like that on top of a full group of Marines and several turrets, so that was quite brutal. I don't think that was a attack that needed to happen. In that situation, it just seems like wait for Terran to move out there. He did it quite a bit of harass, and wait for his third to get up, and then wait for the Terran to pull the trigger. But that was just a ill-fated attack from the beginning.
Yeah, obviously it was a very aggressive build from the start with the heavy Zergling committal. But we saw pretty good damage. The micro was solid early on, but once you're just trading the muta damage into turrets that aren't dying, that's not a recipe for it.
So our next map is going to be Circuit Breakers, kind of the good old familiar map for the ending best of 3.
Yeah, for this week's games, this is our standard, our 4-player macro map.
And in the bottom here, for Team Beast, the A-teamer, it's Jaewon is the orange Zerg.
And in the top left, in the white, we've got our Terran. Flash for the win. And he's from, you said, Scientology vessel?
Scientology vessel is correct.
Okay. Good, solid name.
Yeah, it's funny.
So, we'll see if that was a interesting build. As soon as the scouting SCV was killed last time, it went immediately into a heavy Zergling committal. We'll see if... I doubt he pulls that build out twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the stages of watching that game was kind of weird, because at first it was like, what is he doing? He's bleeding so many lings. And then he turned it around and he started doing serious damage. And then it just one bad engagement and pretty much that was GG. So those type of builds are so dicey, and I think he didn't pull it off by the skin of his teeth is kind of my impression. I don't know if you have a different take on it, but it seemed like he was close to making it work.
It was a classic example of a Terran. Terran I feel is the hardest to all in, because they are so just generally. It seems like they're so. I don't know the right word for it, but it's like gritty kind of. Like
potent.
Even with just a few units, they can keep holding you off, and then if you're continuing to commit into them, and you're not, getting your return, if you're not ending the game, then all of a sudden they're going to come out and they're going to be much stronger than you are. And I think he knew that as soon as he lost that army, that Flash could just push across, kill the third, probably kill the natural if he wanted. It would have been his game to lose as soon as he busted out of there after that, killing those mutas.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty good analysis.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, he saw the writing on the wall. And yeah, that's tough because, like, it seems like you're winning the whole game. Terran's got no units, and you're just kind of pounding them over and over again with your units, doing damage. They're not attacking you at all. Like, it's not like he was getting any economic damage done to him. But the committal of those units is economic damage in itself because of how many units he built early. Those weren't drones. So, like, it looks like it's not as bad an economy as it is. But
yeah, now this is interesting here. We have a FAQ up from Flash for the win, and so he's going for 1-1-1 or maybe just some fast vultures. We'll see.
And this is 2 hatch play from Jaewon. And we've got 4 Zerglings that went to the bottom right. Now they're heading up to the top right cross position, and that's not where Flash is either. So these, and anyway, we have Marines with SCVs in front at the ramp, so they wouldn't be getting damage done anyway. But a 2 hatch play.
Yep, and there's the starport. There is a vulture coming out. So if he builds if he pushes out the vulture marines before there's any sunkens up, that could do decent because, vulture micro is so good against drones.
Oh, of course. Of course. If you don't have a sunken up, then the vulture has free reign over your entire base. So, but we actually have Flash's scouting SCV never took any damage and scouted completely the 2 hatch play. But we do have the vulture. He's microing the vulture, and these Zerglings are not going to do anything. Okay, and we have the sunken immediately, the creep colony immediately coming up because he sees that vulture. So, that's the reaction that you want. But we actually have the drones heading out to the ramp.
Maybe trying to catch the vulture, trying to be a little bit cute there.
Yeah.
The nice awareness from Jaewon. If that would have worked, it would have been really cool.
Yeah, we would have been. That would have been quite shocking. Or I guess he was just trying to delay a little bit for if it came across the ramp for the sunken to finish.
Got a Wraith building as well, so this is going to be an interesting game. It's a 1-on-1, and how well will he be able to execute this? Last week we saw Dark Matter, a little different, did a proxy FAQ, and then went into Wraiths. That was a 2-port Wraith, though, so analogy's kind of breaking down here. But still, he did it 1-1-1, and it was definitely pretty effective. Wraiths are interesting. What do you think about Wraiths in TVZ at this level?
Okay, so Wraiths, obviously, they're fragile. We call them paper planes. Yeah. But depends if you're going for the... We've got cloak researching. So that gives them that's sort of their ability to compete is that they can... Ooh, we've got the first Wraith. Takes a couple hits. But, yeah, the Wraith, it's just as microable. It's very microable. It's very good anti-air. A single target damage. It just doesn't have the bouncing glaives, which is why... And you can't produce 9 at once.
Yeah.
So, we do have the turrets up, and obviously these are fast mutas because of the 2 hatch play.
Losing a few mutas there, but cleaning up the Marines, and there was no
Not many turrets in the main. No turrets in the main. Only one on top of the starport.
Yeah, he's
but
taking some SCV
Cloak is
losses
finishing
here.
soon. He needs Cloak to finish here because there's no Overlord
Oh,
nearby, obviously.
he bleeds the right there. That was a big mistake. A few seconds before
that's
Cloak
rough.
finished.
Yeah, Cloak was about to finish. Mutas actually take a hit on that. We've got no units here. I said before, the 1/1/1 can be fragile if you get any sort of one, but not one. If you get any sort of like a 2-hatch play or a Speed Hydra, it's fragile because you don't have many units. Mass repair on these turrets. Ooh, this is actually good. That's very good for Flash. He takes out multiple mutas. That was very good, and only took splash damage, glaive damage.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. The main for Flash was completely open, and mutas decided to go back down where there were missile turrets already. So, that was questionable. Yeah, to say the least. That could have been a much different game if he cleaned up the mutas there. The SCVs in the main. But now, as it is, there's so many missile turrets in the net. He's still pressing the issue here. Of course, he cannot engage too far in without the Overlord because he needs detection.
Oh, and he does engage now, and we've got Cloak. Alright, we've got the Uncloak. So actually, we have a couple of vultures on the map. We still only have 2 hatch. So this is feeling to me like he's going to all in with continually building mutas. This isn't that uncommon. He does take out 1 Wraith. And he's got Overlord speed, okay. So that's gonna tremendously help his attempts to take out the Wraiths. But yeah, this is feeling like the way he's continually producing Mutalisks, he's not attempting to take a 3rd.
Yeah, I really don't understand this at all. He's trying to dive in the net, and see, it might have worked now. The bouncing glaives are doing really good. They're getting quite a few SCVs and the turrets as well. There's still an Overlord here.
Yeah, the natural is now lost. So this is feeling like this is good. This is good. Flash has no units. All he has is a couple turrets and a couple Wraiths in the main, and a transition to a 2-port Wraith. But there are only 8 mutas, so we're gonna probably see what more. Ooh, maybe. Okay, a couple more mutas being created in the main, but we do have Zerglings coming out from the natural. So actually, if you could bring in the Zerglings, maybe take out the turrets, because there's no ground units here.
Yeah, I feel like this game is already premature though, losing the net here. 2-port Wraith, Wraiths produce so much slower, you touched on earlier, than mutas, and he's trying to produce Valkyries here, but it's just too little too late. The muta flock, he can honestly just aim move here. Wraiths are not that good.
Yeah, Wraiths they're very strategic, they're very tactical, and they're not able to fight this. Like, this is just way more units.
GG is called, and
send replays, please.
Jaewon getting the win here, a 2-1 win. That was a really good game, good series too. The series is tied 1-1, and we're going into a game on
Crossing Field.
Yeah, Crossing Fields. There it is. That's it.
Yeah, it definitely looks.
Oops, sorry.
Quality looks better.
I started it without you. Getting a little bit too eager here.
Oh. Gotcha.
See Scuzzy in the chat. Hope you've been having a good day, man. Paisan, I think, was in there as well. The godfather of CPL checking in. Oh, I guess maybe Elmaster would be kind of considered the godfather of CPL, but Paisan's keeping it alive.
He's the carer.
Sure.
Okay, so restarting, we have got. Here, I'll do Flash this time.
Sure.
We've got Flash for the win from Team Scientology Vessel, our purple Terran in the top left.
And for Team Beast, in the bottom right, we've got Jaewon as the yellow Zerg.
And I don't want to just say the same stuff that we just said, but we've got macro map. I'm expecting Well, here we can do a little. We know just the openers pretty much. We know we're gonna see a 14 CC from Flash, and we know we're gonna see a 12 hatch from Jaewon. And so the 14 CC is interesting because obviously if there's any sort of aggression, it's very vulnerable. But you know, macro-wise, if you're opening 14 CC, then you are sort of negating. You're somewhat negating the economic advantage that the Zerg is getting by going for that 12 hatch.
Yeah, I think 14cc, you know, it's kind of a ballsy play, but I like it on this map. And, you know, if you pull it off, you're definitely on par with the Zerg. I mean, well, you're on par, which translates to being a little bit ahead, I think. So, it's a nice choice.
Because the general Terran is not going 14cc. So generally, economically, you'd consider a 14cc Terran ahead. Because relative to the Zerg, they're ahead of where a usual Terran is. That's sort of what I would say.
Definitely. Yeah.
And, like, obviously, yeah, I really like early expands on this map. Like, that would be, like, my, like, analysis of it would be early expansions, especially for races that usually don't get the early expands as often. Like, you can just go 14 CC or 12 Nexus to those back bases, and you can pretty much get away with it because you can block off your ramp at the front, and they can't do anything about it. So, sort of the like we said, this is kind of the economic kind of build that we were expecting last series, and then we got a early Ling gas attack from Hot Dog Water that ended that series.
Hot Dog Water, she got pretty lucky there. I was really surprised that turned out the way it did, and I think in that situation, if you don't make that happen, unless you get a decent amount of SCV kills, you're behind. She made 8 Lings, right? So that's a relatively big commitment. I mean, not relatively. It is a big commitment in the beginning, and yeah, every once in a while it works, I guess. So can't blame her for trying.
Yeah, I would just say straight up that was a big commitment because the second hatchery was so late. She immediately teched into a layer, so it was going to be. I mean, I would assume. I guess she would have followed up with like mutas or something, or a lurker all in. It was meant to do extreme early damage, and it was going to be very aggressive. And that is not what we have this time, to say the least. We've got 3 hatches to 3 bases, which is something that you can do on this.
We've got a FAQ for Flash as well, so this is interesting here. Really go for that 1-1 style. Or, you know, something like a 2-port Wraith branching out. I think this is a good map for 2-port Wraith. Get some good Overlord kills. Or really just want to go for some early Vultures and transition into some standard play. You know, the floor is open for Flash right now.
Yeah, and you've got the advantage of the early CC. So you've got an early economic engine to power off of. And it's just sort of a standard build from Jaewon, a 3-hatch. I mean, obviously, like I said before, it gives you the opportunity to expand and make your 3rd hatch at a base instead of just in your main. So that is obviously an advantage. And we've got the Spire coming up at the front. So I guess sort of hoping that we'll see, you know, since the SCV is in the main, we're not going to see. I doubt this SCV lives to see the front again. Yeah, or maybe it will.
Behind this, he's going. Flash is going for 3 FAQs, which is interesting. And his Zergling will actually come in and scout this. That's huge.
Ooh, yeah. But we do have the SCV actually see the. Oh no, the SCV did not see the Spire. That's at the natural. That's interesting. That's sort of a common area to hide tech, in my experience, for the Zerg. So I'm a little surprised he didn't see that. But he's probably trying to take out that Zergling. So yeah, 3 FAQ. Is this some sort of Goliath push?
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. I think it's a, when you see these mass early factories, oh, that scout is so big then, because this is sort of based on them not expecting it. Not 100%, but it's the unexpectedness and the power of this push that really makes it so hard to stop.
Yeah, if Zerg's allowed to get enough Sunkens up, then Goliaths are pretty bad against them, just straight up. And yeah, like you said, them being scouted, I don't know. I honestly have not seen a ton of games with Goliaths. A few practice games, but in the CPL, they're kind of a exotic build, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, the thing is about it, everyone knows that Goliath is not the most powerful anti-ground unit, but the sheer power against the early Zerg units in high numbers of Goliaths is actually pretty surprising. If he were to have just busted out with a solid control group of Goliaths against just, for example, mutas, or and not like a bunch of Sunkens, for example, then we probably would just see him run him over.
Yeah, the turrets going up just at a perfect time for Flash is interesting. It seems like his turrets have always come up like, perfect, like just the second he needs them. Good timing here.
Well, that's sort of the
yeah.
he's emulating his namesake. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I like mixing in the Goliaths. It's a good build, and it catches Zergs off guard, and it's surprisingly strong. Like, it really can just run them over if they don't know it's coming. And even with proper micro, you can still, obviously, this has the upgrade already researched for Goliath range, so you can see them just take out any overlords on the map. They can fight mutas. It's not quite as good as you'd think against mutas. Actually, they don't do full damage, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, in this number though, they'll gun them down pretty fast, and the range is the killer.
Low mutalisk count. But I'm just when you think of them versus carriers, for example, you think of how quickly carriers get gunned down by even just a control group of Goliaths. You'd think that they would gun down mutalisks faster.
Goliath's coming in here. There's one sunken up. Now, this is interesting. He's got to be careful. Microing Goliath, it's not the easiest thing in the world. There definitely are a lot of, opportunities to slip up attacking in there. So he's going to back off, and he might actually be able to be more successful to try and get going in on the 4th, but that's not scouted as of yet.
Yeah, and we've got a transition into the Hydras, and the Hydras, they're not stronger than the Goliaths, but they are much more cost efficient in fighting versus Goliaths. So that's where you've kind of got the, it's not as if it's just the Goliaths are more expensive. They build slower. Ooh, but that is not what you want. But he's up to 5 factories. He's pumping Goliaths out of 4 factories with some tanks.
Leading Hydras here. Oh my goodness, this is not a good attack. He's attacking into a funnel of Goliaths. Ooh. So many mutalisks going down though.
But they're not. But this is about.
That was weird, to be honest.
It's the Hydras trade efficiently versus the Goliaths is the issue here, and he's additionally fighting mutas.
Oh my goodness, this micro from Jaewon is. I don't know. It got really good, then it kind of petered out there.
Oh, we've got Overlord about to go down. So I still don't think that was necessarily that bad for Jaewon, because he really thinned down the Goliath count. I wouldn't really be confident pushing into Hydras in a Sunken here with this low Goliath count.
That one tank, though, makes such a big difference.
It does. It does. It does a ton of damage to the Hydras. Look how low that tank is as well.
Yeah, a couple more shots, and they'll be done.
But I don't think he knows about the 4th base.
You got another stream of Goliath tank here coming in.
I think these mutas could just go in and snipe off that tank, and then the Hydras would be able to wipe the Goliaths. Oh, but he's gonna push them all at once. The tank should go down quickly.
Yeah, the tank goes down, and the Goliath will get mopped up quickly.
Goliath's got wiped there. And see, the Hydras just trade so much more efficiently against the Goliaths that you just Terran had to invest much more into his army, and he's losing it to cheaper units. For base economy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think the key there was that he just saw the 4th base.
Losing a few tanks here unnecessarily.
Ooh, yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, it needs every tank he can to fend off the Hydras. Now, I don't know if Jaewon can attack right into this now with the tank sieged. He's going to pull back.
Yeah, this should be interesting. We've got the starport coming up with the control tower.
Can I just want to say, like, I feel like out of all the remastered units graphics, I like the old Goliath more. I don't know. I just feel like it looks way cooler.
It looks more badass.
Yeah.
The new one's too shiny.
It's kind of glossy. The other one was like...
Yeah, the glossiness of it. I understand it.
If this was in the old graphics, I don't know, I would be... it would be a little bit better. I mean, still awesome, but... I mean, Goliath, this is cool.
All you gotta do is hit that F5.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to go grainy on everybody, though. They're going to be freaking out, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, I did that quickly on my screen, just took a little look. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, okay, we've got a couple vultures to the north, I think. Okay, but we have a sunken and a couple hydras, so I doubt this does much damage to the 4th base. We've actually got the Zerg army coming back. So those vultures went down, and we've got a Goliath tank army. Not many tanks, but it's still a sizable force.
Yeah.
And he's almost all minerals. He's using, because the Goliaths are costing him gas, so he doesn't have the tank count exactly where he wants. And so he's probably just going to be pumping out a lot of vultures soon.
Yeah, this...
actually, he's got queued up Goliaths. I was wrong.
This 5th base from Jaewon, this is crucial. Flash, I mean, a 5-base Zerg, it's just so unstoppable. And once he gets that base established, it's going to be hard for Flash to push in. So this is a pretty important moment for Flash. If he makes this attack work, then he might be in okay shape. But if it doesn't, and then Jaewon gets up to 5 bases, then it's going to be kind of the point of no return for this Goliath army.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, we've got good upgrades on the mech. We've got solid 1-1 versus... Although we do have 1-1. We've got 2-0 carapace. Now the siege tanks are doing a good job versus the Hydras, but the Goliaths I think are having a hard time with wiping both Muta and Hydra.
Yeah, the thing is the Mutas don't do splash, but that was a decent attack. The thing is that Flash unsieges tanks. Now he's a little bit weak to the Hydras. He needs to pull back before he loses all those tanks.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Hydras coming up. Yeah, he actually managed to not lose a tank in that attack, but he's going to lose them now.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him unsiege those tanks, I was like, oh no, it's too soon. And
he's got a long stream of mech units coming up, though. So we'll see. If he were to somehow, continually do damage to this, take out this base, there's 3 hatcheries here. All we have is 3 mutas and some hydras.
Tank sieging in a pretty good position. Actually, a little bit too far back. And
he could just begin to damage the hatchery from here. Although he doesn't want to take sunken hits with those Goliaths. Ooh, that's a lot of hydras hatching, though.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary here.
Yeah, this is rough. Especially since he's focusing so much on taking out those mutas that the hydras are just teeing off on the Goliaths.
Tanks are putting in so much work, though, on the hydras. Now we got some lings coming in. This is good.
But we're so close to the reinforcement that we've just got Zerg overwhelming this army. And look at how many minerals that Flash has because he's been using all of his gas.
Yeah, he just needs to start, like, get vultures. I mean, 5 rounds of vultures yesterday and start mining now. Because the muta production is slackened a little bit. He's still got to be worried about that. But transitioning into Hydra, Ling, and he needs to also start harassing more. The 5th base he still hasn't scouted. A full round of vultures going in there would be barely a dent in his minerals and could do so much damage.
Got Jaewon droning up pretty heavily. We've got Jaewon ahead in supply, which obviously is a bit, when you've got a 5 base Zerg, that is, I mean, look, he just built 10 drones out of his ashes.
Vic7 in the chat saying, is this going to be A games? Yes, this is only the A games. We start off with hot... Whoa. Wow, sorry, I just knocked my glass off the desk. Started off with hot dog water, and then this is the second round, Jaewon and Flash, and after this we got one more series. Somebody else will be casting the B team. Match is not 100% sure who that will be yet.
And we actually have Jaewon taking the other the upper, 11 o'clock base, which is a, pretty aggressive move that generally would be considered, taking both of those bases is, one of them would be considered a Terran base. But Terran, it's hard, it's hard to expand. Okay, so we're starting to see a bunch of vultures coming out. I'm guessing he's going to expand his... Yeah, he's building one more factory. Because, yeah, you've got so many minerals. Spider mines are very effective versus Hydralisks. If they're not gunning them down immediately, they can do that. They can gun down the spider mines. But, I mean, one spider mine wipes Hydras.
Yeah, not to be, too harsh on Flash, but honestly, banking 5K mins at this point is just really unprecedented. Throw down like 5 factories at a certain point.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it was, because of the heavy Goliath and siege, he was pretty much making Goliath siege tank.
True.
All of his gas was going into that. So he just ended up with a massive mineral bank, and you can't just build it. Obviously, you don't want to bank that much. But okay, we do have some mines taking out some Hydras. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because the vultures, they're not actually that good fighting versus any of this. Ooh, we've just got so many units coming in. And not enough tanks. Oh, we do have a bunch of tanks reinforcing, though.
Yeah, the reinforcing tanks are getting such a good position, and now the Hydras are petering out. Looks like it will be fine. There was a CC.
Ooh, but now we've only got 1 Goliath versus 3 mutas. There's no anti-air here.
Yeah, this is bad. And the Hydras are swooping down on the 4th, actually, one of the only 2 mining bases left, and they're going to get on top of the mineral line. GG's called, and our boy Jaewon from Team Beast will go up 2-1.
And win the series.
Yep.